Alrighty. Welcome everybody to the first game of playoffs. I am Ryan X Alpha Acacia and joined here by Liam Blade Xa. And
Yep, I'm here, and yeah, don't get too ahead of yourselves there, Ryan. With the first game, we'll see how things go because, of course, we've got Weetbix Kidz here versus Destiny, and Weetbix Kidz have a bit of reputation about them, and they're living up to it tonight. So, apologies for any delays. If you're expecting to get right into Champion Select, we're going to have a bit of a delay with an update on the situation. They're waiting on their AD carry to show up. So yeah, let's hope they rock up here, and we've got a game tonight. Otherwise, it'll be a very short stream for us, won't it?
hopefully not, but yes, it is already 7:46 and the first ban will be lost at 7:48 in 2 minutes-ish. But yeah, we've got Weetbix Kidz versus Destiny, our seed 1 and seed 4 teams going into this playoffs. What are your initial thoughts about this matchup?
Thoughts in the matchup. If we're going off the seasonal results, everyone's expecting this to be a one-sided affair going towards Destiny, but you never know. This is the start of the Fearless format, the start of playoffs, and a test to see whether teams have been saving anything for those formats. A player like Junior Burgers, who has shown a couple champions in his pool. Maybe he was practicing things for this particular moment, and we get to see all the cards laid out on the table. This is where the important matches really starts to show their head when we're competing for those final standing spots, getting into the money. Certainly, I don't think anyone's going to be pulling their punches anymore. So I'm hoping to see Weetbix at least show us something new tonight. Might not have to be a win, but at least that growth that might be able to have that Cinderella run be a possibility in the back end, or is it just going to be Destiny looking as strong as ever, holding true, and keeping that number 1 spot under wraps? What are your thoughts tonight? Do you think we're going to see anything special?
We'll see what Weetbix Kidz have brewing up, but yeah, Destiny have been time and time again showing how strong they are as a team. Teamwork has been on point. Has been one of Weetbix Kidz' kind of weakness is the teamwork. So see how much practice they've had, how many scrims they've gotten under their belts, and if they are able to secure a strong start to these playoffs and send Destiny into the losers bracket or not, or if they Destiny is gonna stay strong and continue to perform the way they have. But it's 7:48, so Weetbix Kidz have lost their first ban, and the next ban will be at 7:51. Just keep track of that. But yeah, not much has changed in the meta, so I'm expecting like the same sort of picks and bans to come
things have
out for the
been
next
relatively
game.
stable. I don't think there's any big major patches that might change a particular play style of a team, anything like that. So yeah, I'm expecting, if they don't reveal anything new, it should play out the same it has in the past, and that has been relatively dominant from Destiny. But I really do want to see, something competitive out of Weetbix tonight. If it's just a 2-0 stomp and we all go to bed early, at least we won't have trouble getting up for work tomorrow. But I do think we want a bit more out of the series. Everyone is looking forward to seeing, some close matches here in the playoffs. And how Fearless is going to turn out, because this is the first time we're running the Fearless format here in the Northern Territory sort of League of Legends community. I'd like to see, what that ends up bringing. Does that shake up the results? Does that sort of make things a bit more unstable in the playoffs format? I think generally you have teams like Destiny who seem pretty well-rounded. It should favor them, but you might get some unstable games. You might get those crazy picks come out. Some things that teams didn't play for, especially deeper into those series. It's a bit hard in a best of 3, but certainly in a best of 5, that's when the pools start to thin out a lot, and you have to get creative with your draft. Certainly, yeah, we'll see. I don't expect much troubles to Destiny tonight, but I really do want to see Weetbix show us what they've got.
Well, Yeah, no. So first game is of Fearless coming out tonight. It's gonna be interesting to see how Weetbix Kidz able to handle this. Junior Burgers notoriously getting permanently banned on his Camille pick. It's not going to feel good for him to also have a bunch of or a couple of top lane picks also get taken away and unable to be picked. So it'll be interesting to see for both teams, and really haven't seen too many crazy duplight picks either. So it'll be interesting to see if both these players how they are able to handle the fearless format. But 751, unfortunately, second ban being lost. For Weetbix Kidz is a very common theme with this team. Unfortunately, if it's not Lucian, it's Arrow apparently, as we are waiting for Arrow to arrive for this game. Lucian actually here early this time, which is a good good change. But yeah, so the next ban loss will be at 754.
Yeah. Hopefully we end up seeing him arrive home. He did say he was very short distance away, giving us the 5-minute marker there. So let's all cross our fingers. Hopes he makes it here. They are going to be rocking our champion select probably with that many bans at all, but that hasn't really been a huge issue so far for Weetbix Kidz. They've managed to pick up some wins
No, I mean
despite
they've managed to
rocking their
land
bans. Yeah,
in the fourth place, right? So
yeah, yeah.
even with
So
the amount of bans that they've lost throughout the entire season, has there ever been a time where they've had all their bans? I think Lucian's been late for the last 5 games. So yeah, continuing the tradition, but
uh,
obviously it hasn't affected them as much as it might have other teams. So
yeah, not too sure if this is some sort of Weetbix meta, you know, like your best they're too busy munching on their Weetbix and they just can't make it to games on time. They got to get their like the protein in or something. It's something about the Weetbix Kids, man. It's just hard to keep the schedule, it seems. But we'll see whether we're able to get a game at all tonight. I really do hope Ari does show up for all our sake. Otherwise, this would be very awkward. But move on. I guess something else to talk about is just the other matchup is probably going to be played this Thursday. So yeah, the playoffs are kicking off. This will be the winner's side for those who aren't aware, and then after that will be the losers of their respective playoffs will be heading over to that losers side. So there is a double elimination format. Even if we see Weetbix go down tonight, we're not going to see them completely out, but obviously you want to keep that winner's side advantage, and it's going to be a huge advantage going into the things like grand finals, having that side selection, having that higher seed. It's going to be very important. I think one thing we haven't brought up is Destiny have selected red side tonight.
it's true.
Do you see any reason behind that decision there? Anything that they play towards in the red side in particular? There's lots of powerful jungle first picks that are available, but yeah, they don't seem to be going towards that blue side meta at the moment. What are your reads on that?
I have no idea. But I guess they're just prioritizing that get the counter pick over the first pick, right? So I feel like there's just so many good um, first pickable champions or like strong picks that there isn't like one first pick that you need to prioritize. So you're going for that red side, you get 2 of the strong picks instead of just one. In response to maybe they're going to pick the strongest one out of the available, and then you're going to choose the what next 2 strongest ones instead. So um and then you get the added bonus of having the counter pick as the last pick as well. I don't know what the meta is at the moment in terms of pro play and what that kind of looks like, but yeah, I mean it. Those are the kind of the benefits you get for choosing red side. As oh, I thought someone joined, but it's just Prodigium moving over. But yeah, we are continuing to wait as it is hit 755. I think it was 754 was the last one. Yeah, so
Yeah,
754. So the
probably.
3 bands lost.
Yeah, so
So was that
about to
757?
yeah, 757 will be the
757.
next one, and then the
Next
final ban.
band lost. Wait. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, if we do hit that 8 PM mark, I believe that is actual grounds for forfeit as per the pre-discussed rules in that last captain's chat we had. I believe that was in writing there, so you still might delegate that that sort of
Hey,
call
there he
over to
is.
Theo.
Woo!
Yeah.
So, all
All right,
right. So 3 bans have
again,
been
who knows?
lost as we see Arrow entering the lobby and them getting underway into the champ select.
All right, into it.
So yeah, as we were talking before, we were talking about red side, we are talking about blue side, and we are talking about those strong picks. I would assume we're going to see the strong junglers getting banned, the strong ADC Varus getting banned, and and maybe some targeted bans for junior burgers, the Camille and the Gwen.
Yeah, look, I've been burned for like saying things in draft as it's happening before, but like we're in playoffs now. Surely teams have done their homework, surely they're prepped. I'm expecting, you know, some crucial bans to come across. Obviously, that Diego hasn't been let through. I don't think anyone wants to take a chance on that solution so far. But then there's two pretty key bans over to junior burgers that teams tend to go towards, which is that Camille and Jack's ban. But they also have to be careful now because they've given over blue side. That does leave the opportunity to blind pick a Gwen straight up because he seems like he's quite comfortable and proficient on that champion as well. So, you know, that is the cost of giving over blue side, is having something like that being available to junior burgers who has been wanting to get his champions and is even fine to blind pick them, it seems. I imagine if he's got the Camille up, he's just going to take that straight away. But yeah, it's generally just been banned away from him. We might see that change here tonight. With him being blue side, he might be able to first pick something away before it's picked up on the other side here. So we'll see what Destiny go towards. I think the Camille ban is pretty pretty standard. I think that's probably the most scary top lane champion. But oh, maybe we're seeing some other eyes go towards other people on the Weetbix squad, which is traditionally not what's been happening. Yunara being taken away from Arrow, which I imagine has been putting a lot of work in with that champion into the practice in the solo queue there. So. Can definitely see it. It's a quirky champion. It's fairly new. If someone's very proficient on it and you haven't had much experience against it, that's definitely an opening that you probably wouldn't want to risk in a playoffs format where you don't have many games to play with. But it's the final ban lost there from Weetbix Kidz. We will see them be able to ban on the round 2, so we'll see if that ends up mattering at all. But yeah, it looks like Junior Burgers is going to have his pick of the litter of his champions, which he doesn't normally have. So. He'll be he'll be putting his hands together, looking to see something there. But we have to be careful. Johnny is pretty proficient at a lot of champions, and he could be walking right into a counter pick if they've left things up.
So yeah, Junior Burgers has got his Camille left open. So you reckon we'll see it?
I think he's been begging for it too much. Like even if he doesn't pick it right now, I reckon round 2 or 3 before the next bans come through, he's certainly going to be looking towards that. Going to pick up Ashe here at round 1. They don't want to reveal their cards. Yeah, don't want to reveal the cards. Jewpies has been known to play that and played towards the utility champions like Ashe, like Jhin, Varus. These ADCs that can offer a bit more in these early game skirmishes through the impact of CC. He's definitely been going towards that. But yeah, you know, you take away one, he's still got plenty to choose from. Probably going to be going towards that Varus, which is just a very strong champion, can fit into a lot of comps. He can play that lethality style, can play that on hit for more damage, and when you pair it with a ranged support like Nico, it's quite the oppressive lane. So we'll see whether Arrow or Foran can withstand this duo that's coming out of Destiny right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we're picking on Nico here with all those strong junglers up and available. The bans being prioritized for the enemy players more than the enemy champions. So Renata to answer the Nico engage. A good counter to Varus as well with as an auto attack based champion. He might opt towards that lethality build in order to counteract that Renata ult, and it also pairs well with the Ashe nicely as we see a Zed being hovered.
Has Lucian been practicing something while we haven't been watching? I'd be surprised to see this taken with so many of Junior Burgers champions up and available. He's not looking to pick it up. They do have red side, so I feel like, you know, if you're Junior Burgers, you know, if you don't pick it now, you're probably still going to get counter picked down the line. If you really wanted to showcase your comfort champion, now would be the time. But maybe they just sense something. Maybe they see that they might be walking straight into a Destiny trap here. because why else would it be open? You got to be skeptical with situations like this, certainly as a team. But Zed getting picked up is pretty interesting. That could be going towards the mid lane or the jungle. So yeah, and obviously when you see stuff like the Varus and Nico locked in, you see these very squishy champions already. Two great targets for Zed to jump on towards.
And there's the Camille
that is
bin.
a big pick. But yeah, you gotta see that coming if you didn't pick it up in the first 3 rounds. They're not going to give you too much time to play around with it.
But
and yeah, Jonu does pick up K'Sante, which is pretty blind pickable.
we are moving towards the best of ones and moving towards the best of 3. He has more opportunities to pick up his Camille, so hopefully, maybe we get to see him pick it up later. The Gwen and the Camille bans going through after targeting Arrow's trampool there, and Xin Zhao, one of the strong picks that I was talking about before, getting banned, as I would expect a Pantheon ban as well to allow Zed to kind of do his thing as yeah, like
if it does get taken away here, they are thinking about it. It does get money dropped away, but yeah, I'd be cautious to see what they pick up here. They generally do leave their mid laner to last here, so I would be expecting Braden to have to blind picking his jungle loot. Traditionally, you'll see the junglers pick early on into the draft. I think Braden does see the power of jungle counter pick, what can bring, but no, it looks like they actually they really see the power. They're going to blind pick this Xerath in the mid lane, and they
Xerath into Zed as well.
It could be. It could be. We don't know whether that Zed's going jungle or mid yet, technically. So it could be Xerath into that Zed mid, but yeah, that is a particularly nerve-wracking matchup for the Xerath. If he ever wants to follow the Zed roams or anything, he could be walking right into a Zed all in. These days, Zed isn't that powerful in the early game, but if he's able to get any sort of lead, able to get an item, he is very fearsome, most certainly. And looks like Junior Burgers is going to be going towards that Ambessa, which I don't think we've seen him play at all yet. I'd be curious to see how he pilots that champion, but definitely a strong champion here in the right hands. But in terms of K'Sante matchups, I'm not too familiar with it myself, but I reckon that's probably neutral at best. Not a crazy winning matchup, but
there we go.
It's like Sigh might be playing towards that Galio mid, which is pretty reasonable, very safe matchup in that Xerath. Even with all his poke, you've got the magic shield coming in so often, delaying a lot of that damage. But yeah, this is what we've been waiting for the side of Destiny. They saved it all the way to the last pick, round 5 jungle counter pick to the enemy composition. And he seems to be leaning towards that Kindred. Sees a lot of reason to try and survive there with that Kindred ult. There's so much dive. There's the Galio, there's the Ambassador, there's Zed. One of your teammates gets clipped by an Ashe arrow. Could be that, but no. Now they want to go further onto the dive angle. So this is traditionally what Destiny have played. They pick dive on top of dive. They rotate Braden and Prodigium around. They just skirmish you with their crazy rotates in their team play. It's just really hard to deal with. But I reckon they've got a pretty good composition at dealing with it on the side of Weetbix Kidz, and pretty impressed with the draft from both sides. They've definitely been cooking on both sides here. But which one would you end up favoring yourself?
This is a very even draft, I think. I don't see any glaring weaknesses on either side. They both have their very strong strengths. They do come with their own weaknesses, but yeah, I think that the champions themselves are strong enough to make up for those weaknesses. So Varus into Ashe, it's the Nico Renata matchup as well. Renata Nico, quite a strong lane. I feel like it's very favored towards the Varus. The Xerath Galio. Galio has always been known for his magic resist tankingness, ability to tank those magic damage matchups. Galio being able to jump onto the Xerath, I guess, in a way, and lock him down and try and get his damage off. The Wukong is the Zed matchup. Wukong has his inbuilt armor. Zed, I mean, he just has a bunch of damage and a lot of maneuverability. Wukong has the decoy, his W as well, to kind of maneuver around the Zed's abilities, but yeah, all these matchups are very even. I'm not sure about the K'Sante and Ambessa. Ambessa has the max health damage. Is it max health damage into that K'Sante champion? But K'Sante obviously has a lot of resistances to mitigate a lot of that. So
Yeah, it does have a lot of resistances. Has a lot
I
of armor pen on the Ambassador side as well, though. So
yeah,
goes both ways.
I'd lean towards the Destiny side, just nameplates on, but nameplates off. Both these compositions, I feel like it's very hard to see where or predict where this one will end up.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see, but honestly, myself, I really like how balanced the side of Weetbix is. They've got sort of an answer for everything. You've got Galio and Renata for disengage, so you end up in a bad spot yourself. You can drop that Renata or Galio ult. That's going to make it very difficult for Destiny to continue to fight that fight out. But you've got great options like that Ash Arrow, like Ambessa ult, like Zed ult to find great picks or engages yourself. These champions are very mobile as well. So, they're very slippery. I would say it's probably going to be difficult for Ash to really get her damage out in the fights. And that's where I sort of worry is, do they have enough damage to deal with Destiny and find the picks? But yeah, they've got just a pretty well-rounded comp. Destiny, on the other hand, they don't really have much in the form of disengage. If that Xerath or that Varus get caught, you got to pray that Wukong's on top of them to Cyclone off, or Nico's just going to do a peeling ult, which generally you want to be picking those ults to be going after, squishy champions, finding big picks on the enemy backliners themselves. So I'd say Weetbix is just a slight bit more well-rounded with that disengage factor, but then that's sort of exchanged with the fact that Destiny can poke before fights even begin. They've got some great range on their team through the Seraph and the Varus. We'll see what build the Varus decides to go. I'd say, there's not the tankiest lineup on the side of Weetbix Kidz, but
Oh, I think we just lost Liam, but yeah, very even matchup as we are loading into game. Just like to shout out our sponsors, Northern Territory Government, long-time sponsor, the Array, host of the tournament, Tangled Ventures, Next Tier Gaming and Esports, all amazing organizations sponsoring our lovely tournament as we are getting underway. Game 1 of this best of 3 is trying to get a hold of my co-host. Hopefully he can be back shortly, but seeing a standard fan from both sides. No crazy invades coming out for either of these champions, or not teams rather, as I'll just try and get broadcast software to work a little bit better. But yeah, nothing crazy to say about this early game as we are getting underway. We see the lethality being the choice for the Varus, with the Comet getting picked up. Conqueror for both junglers. Lethal Tempo for Ash. Going to favor those all-ins a little bit more than the Varus. Missing that Lethal Tempo. That Lethal Tempo going to do a little bit of work in that early game as we see both junglers starting on the top side. Piling towards that bottom. Ward on the red buff for Zed, and a ward on the Raptors for Wukong. Spotting out both of these junglers, getting that information early. Trades coming out for both top laners. Both their junglers are pathing away from them, so they're free to do whatever they want for the next 4 or 5 minutes, as we see Arrow and Foron getting that level 2 prio. Getting a little pressure in that bot lane as both junglers are pathing towards their respective laners. Zed, very far ahead of this Wukong's clear. Going to have a lot of tempo on top of the Wukong. It's one of the very big glaring strengths of Zed jungle is the clear speed of that champion. But, oh.
I think I'm back.
Okay, he's back, guys.
Some interesting issues tonight, but we're back online. So Apologies for that delay, but it doesn't seem like we've missed out too much,
No,
thankfully.
nothing crazy. As seeing the Zed getting a lot of prio, the bot lane getting the vision on the Wukong. He's about to finish his full jungle camps before this Wukong has started his Gromp. So lots of tempo.
Zed is known as that the fastest clearing speed jungler in the game. Is that correct information? I think it was at some point. Not too sure if that's
It definitely looks that way. It definitely looks that way.
But yeah, it's an interesting pick. Lucian has cooked this one up, and it sort of goes against what Braden's used to. I'm pretty sure Braden would have just spotted that ward. He knows something's up now, and all the vision that was dropped on him beforehand certainly should be setting off alarm bells. It might be a bit of a smite fight. Dream Meme is forced to walk over here, drop a ward for his jungler. Lucian is trying to get in range for that blue buff steal, but doesn't quite see it. Is going to take the safer option of going towards that scuttle crab, but that could have been disaster right then and there for Destiny. Braden, great awareness, is playing around that bush, catches the ward, and doesn't have that sullen under his nose. So it's going to be moving over, but looks like there's a bit of a fight in the middle lane here. Dream the Meme is caught up by the CC of that Gallo. Is going to have to drop the flash away. Has no mana, but Braden is trying to find that kill with the crushing blow.
Oh.
Does almost get picked up by the combo from Lucian there, but has his flash. But that's a huge win for the side of Weetbix Kidz there. 2 flashes for the price of 1. They'll take that any day of the week, and on top of that, will get both scuttles for the side of Lucian on that Zed. And you know, when you think of Zed as champion, normally he does struggle in that early game to get his items, to get past that difficult early game versus a lot of these mid laners. But in the jungle, he's doing a terrific job at getting past that, and he's already going to be making it towards those lethality items where he's going to be a problem for this mid ADC and support who are going to be so squishy.
Yeah, for sure. As we're seeing both junglers opting to stay on the map. Zed obviously very, very fast and is clear. The Wukong actually going for that recall. So Zed is going to be quite far ahead in this matchup, unfortunately, for Braden's Wukong. Wukong, another champion that does rely on items, not the lethality type though, but his Triforce is a huge power spike and is what I would say makes this champion like very, very strong. Is like the reason why Wukong is one of the better junglers at the moment, is this Triforce power spike. And being behind the Zed might prove fatal, but Zed finishing up on his Krugs, probably going to go for a recall. This bot lane isn't really in a position to gank Junior Burgers. I mean, this matchup looks pretty comfortable for him, as we were talking about before.
He's doing pretty well for himself, has that counter pick in this matchup, and he's chosen the Ambessa. Looks really comfortable building up a lead here, but certainly this Ambessa can be a bit of a problem for the squishy champions themselves. She's sort of a pseudo bruiser assassin. If she's able to land that ult and land a full combo onto either the Xerath or the Varus, he's going to be so hard to just peel off of those champions with the dashes, but she just does so much damage too, can easily take them down. Brian is contesting a lot of this vision too in the bot side, which we see. Normally Destiny are pretty good at holding their vision, but look how well Weetbix Kidz are defending it, keeping track of Braden in this jungle, making sure he's not getting anything done in this early game for this team, making sure Prodigium's not able to roam around. He was doing something a bit earlier mid, but you know, they've navigated it really well when, you know, Destiny can show they can already build leads 6 minutes into the game. Weetbix Kidz keeping things even, keeping things stable, and the Zed is just building a pretty significant lead now, using his extra tempo to go on towards this objective, and they might just pick that one up for free if they don't find that out.
Yeah, not so much for free, as Wukong is piling towards that blue buff, trying to get back what he can, trading that objective for the jungle invade. It's a very typical thing for junglers to do. I mean, if they're going to lose something on the map, they may as well try and pick up somewhere else, and it's usually on the opposite side, as a cross-play is being made for that Wukong. Getting spotted out by the Gallios ward, nicely done by Sigh. They know exactly what the Wukong's up to. He won't be able to get anything more off of this. Probably see a mid.
Oh no, they don't have anything to follow up. He does have the ult, but he decides not to drop it. Looks like Zed is going to be trying to contest the jungle camps that he can, while his mid laner is there. But yeah, I'm not too sure he's aware. They did drop the ward on the blue buff. He might be trying to get the scuttle, but you know, this could be an easy opportunity to make that cross-map play where you're going for your bot side camps and maybe the enemy's blue side once it's up. But actually, they're making a heads-up play onto them. They're really hunting them down. They might find exactly what they've asked for. The Xerath ult is going to come in, try and drop Sigh down, but he drops the ult himself. Does get cancelled out, and they're going to pick up first blood onto Jonu with the Cassante. They don't have the damage to take anyone down on Destiny. They finally do. but it's not going to be enough. They're running for the hills. Jono with the flash is going to pick up one more kill onto Junior Burgers, and that's going to be a double kill over for the Cassante. And Lucian running from the hills does have to be careful because the Dream the Meme is looking for him, does find him in that bush, and they're going to pick up 3 kills for the price of 1 on that topside skirmish. You know, they came looking for a fight, they found it, but Destiny at the end of it all come out ahead.
Very close fight. Both the top lane and jungle falling very low. Unfortunately, getting picked up by Johnny's Cassante and Dream Team's Xerath there. Nicely played by those players. As we see the Thornmail getting completed on the side of Cassante. And interestingly, a Caulfield's Hammer being picked up by Zed. I feel like this might be a Bruiser Zed instead of that Lethality Zed. So that'll be interesting to see in these team fights. He'll be able to live a little bit easier and get a little bit more value out of his damage. As we see the Grubs getting started and contested. That was...
Does get that first one.
Yeah, Lucian got it. So Lucian was able to steal that one. But the rest of Destiny are there to secure the rest.
Yeah, they're not going to get anywhere ahead of themselves here trying to contest that. They know Prodigium's in the area, and Foran was not there at the time, so they're going to take the 1 grub and be pretty happy with that. That is pretty significant to deny the 3 grub buff, so that's definitely... They're pretty happy with that result, I'd say, but not so happy about the kills that went down earlier. That was basically their lead gone out the window, and they're going to work their way back into this game. The way the fight sort of played out, you know, normally Galio should be able to tank things up, but he's not quite tanky enough in these earlier fights where he's able to tank both the Wukong and that Cassante in his ultimate form. Didn't find a way to use his phase rush to get out of dodge, and yeah, the fight sort of snowballed from there. If they were able to play hit and run, you know, all these champions have so much mobility, so much dashes, but earlier on, the cooldowns are really high. They didn't really play it well, and Destiny were just all over them. Hopefully, we're able to see them play these next fights a bit better to see if, you know, they're able to outplay. But yeah, there's lots of skill expression here on all sides. I'd have to say that the fights are going to be so interesting to see how each team play it out, because the mechanics are going to be very much at test here. We haven't seen anything out of this bot lane, just Weetbix doing a very nice solid job of picking up CS, meanwhile Arrow falling a bit further behind in this matchup, which should be pretty even. So yeah, he's doing pretty well for himself on this Varus. He's going to be going towards those lethality items, be hitting like a truck in the team fights. If they don't watch out and they don't dodge out on these arrows, certainly they could be chunking out this Ashe and this Zed before any fights begin.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zed not being able to get too much value out of this tempo advantage in this jungle matchup. Unfortunately, Zed kind of walking around aimlessly as we see some trading in the top lane. The Thornmail difference a little bit a little bit too much for Junior Burgers to handle. Unfortunately, that massive item gap there.
Yeah, and Johnny's playing the trades well. I think it's normally very important to hit that Q2 on Ambessa because there's a big chunk of your damage on that skill there, but unfortunately Johnny's just too slippery. He's moving around and he's not getting caught by many of them. Every time the camera pans over, I see Junior Burgers normally with that one, so coming out ahead in a lot of these trades here, and Junior Burgers is trying to do what he can, pick up the farm, stay relevant, because he can certainly do some damage to a Xerath or a Varus later on if he finds the hit. But yeah, we'll see whether that's going to happen at all. It's just a bit of a wave clear battle mid. I don't think either opponent can kill each other, but they're going to certainly be keeping their eye out for their team for when the junglers make a play, or potentially the supports running around the map. But no, this next dragon is spawning up. I think Destiny don't want to give over too many early game dragons, and they are going to be having this one on their radar. Seems like the bot is having lots of priority now that Varus has gotten that AD and that lethality. He's able to push out these waves super easily. I'd be interested to see how the teams are going to react. Are they going to be playing towards that sacking dragon win condition, try keep them up early, or are we going to play things a bit more intelligent, try cross the map? What do you reckon?
I mean,
do in the shoes?
If we are going to fight this dragon, the bot lane of Weetbix Kidz are very much not prepared, as we see Yomu's Ghostblade getting picked up by the Varus and the Ashe kind of just sitting on components right now. So yeah, this is very much favored towards Destiny as we see the engage.
They catch Brayden on the way in, but Prodigium has a beautiful flank onto Arrow. He's going to flash and cleanse out of there, and they're going to turn it back onto Prodigium now. He doesn't have to flash out. He's still healthy, and Arrow now caught in a bad position is going to get flashed on by Brayden. They pick up a couple kills for their troubles on the bot lane of Weetbix Kidz. They get the dragon, but at what cost? As Destiny come through and they clean up the fight right afterwards. And yeah, just as you said, the gold was spent onto the side of Destiny, so that's just the expected result. They had items such as that loot and such as that Yumu's come through, and yeah, they just showed how strong they were and ready for that fight. When Prodigium is finding flanks like that as well, it's just a bit of a done deal. So no, they get the dragon, they're getting that sacking win condition, but they have to be careful of this gold lead sort of creeping away from them, going up to 2.5k now. They're not in a terrible position so far, but things could get a lot worse if they're not careful.
Nearly getting caught there, but yeah, these 1k gold swings from Weetbix Kidz definitely favoring Destiny as would they be the scaling comp? I'd say, I don't know. Like I said, I think these matchups are very even, so I'm not sure who would benefit from a gold lead more than who, as it's really being determined by the fundamentals of being set up and ready for these fights. Hopefully, we'll see Weetbix Kidz maybe hopefully pick up on the fact that they were ready for that fight, not spending their money before the objective was spawned, and in a position to fight and fighting anyway. So hopefully Weetbix Kidz are able to recognize that point. But yeah, I mean, Destiny just have an item advantage, and they should have won that fight, and they did. So we are seeing lots of lulls within this game. A very fundamental game, you'd say.
Interesting map movements at the very least. We're seeing the bot lane rotate over to that mid lane here, and that potentially could mean that they are looking to keep the pedal on the metal here, look to contest that Rift Herald when it does spawn up, because it's not too far off, but that is going to buy a lot of breathing space for the bot side to get that pushed in. Galio without ult, without TP, might not be able to join them straight away. Ult is about to come up, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play. They did sort of move their bot lane up, but I'm not too sure why at this moment. They have really good vision catching out this invade from Brayden here. He's going to look to pick that up, but fortunately, they are ready for this, but you know, it might not be the fight they're looking for, as Lucian gets picked up by the Xerath ult. Doesn't quite dodge out into that. Renata is going to drop that ult. They're going to try and do as much damage as they can back, but fortunately it's not enough. They do find a big knock-up and taunt onto Brayden. That is enough, but Prodigium's going to flash in with the Pop Blossom. Boran trying to get in there, but everyone's already dead, and unfortunately Duplat now is shown up with the Chain of Corruption, going to take him down. They just seem to be on the ball, and Weetbix Kidz keep thinking, can we take this fight? Can we take it? Oh, unfortunately that's not how the ult works, Junior Burgers. You got to have a target there. It does ult away, but there's a billion other dashes to get out of dodge. Just going to be ulting for a positive trade on the side of Jonu. Yeah, it is it's not looking well for the rest of the map there. There's just positive fight after positive fight for Destiny, and it seems to be Weetbix Kidz are opting into them. It seems like the idea is even there, but the coordination and the mechanics not quite. You know, if the Wukong's face checking a Zed and a Galio, you might think you can chain CC him with the Zed ult, blow him up really quickly, but it seems like they're sort of hesitating. They're not communicating the calls very well. They're not saying blow up this Wukong, take him down ASAP, not send Ashe ult through. It seems like they're a bit of hesitation, a bit of miscommunication in these fights, and it's just costing them so much as they keep losing fight after fight.
There isn't really a plan on the side of Weetbix Kidz. I mean, we were talking about the early rotation of ADC into that mid lane, hopefully contesting that Rift Herald on spawn, but I mean, Zed opting to farm his jungle instead and not really go for that Rift Herald on spawn, and not really use that mid pressure being built by the ADC being there. So a little bit of a lack of plan, I think, on the side of Weetbix Kidz, as we are seeing.
Oh, looks like they're going to be finding an engage here onto Prodigium and Duplat, but unfortunately no one else is there to follow up onto the CC of Sigh. That was a nice arrow too, but looks like they now are expending that TP. They're going to find a big flash Q from the Renata, and the Lucian's trying to drop the damage, but the disengage is there. Brayden was on top of his carries to drop the Cyclone, provide the CC for them to walk out of harm's way there. And that is going to be them looking to reset and potentially even poke out onto this objective. They got the TP out. Jonu is left all by himself in that bot lane, taking down all these turrets, getting that gold in his pocket. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them to deal with this. Even if they get something out of this Rift Herald play, that is going to be a lot of gold over to the side of Destiny. And all that XP in the bot lane are also going to waste. Looks like they're not resetting their tempo at all, running straight over to this. And I wonder if that's going to be a problem. This K'Sante is a bit of a monster. Looks like they're dropping the ult, looking for a dive. A very big heads-up play from Junior Burgers, but I don't think it's the play they want as Prodigium comes through with a 4-man pop loss. And that is a huge ult from the side of Renata, but I don't think it's enough. The whole of Destiny's squad show up, take the mid laner, and they take them all down after a beautiful counter engage there from Prodigium on that Nico.
Oh no, yes, they are biting off too much. Biting off more than they can chew on the side of Weetbix Kidz. Opting in to stay on the map right after taking that Rift Herald objective. Looking for that mid play, looking for the dragon, looking for the dive on the Xerath that was underneath his tower. But, I mean, you guys have just lost a bunch of health on that previous fight. You guys used a few ults in that previous fights as well. Really need to be looking for that reset, looking for the next objective, and looking to use the tempo swing that you've just used on the top side and swing it back into the bot side. So, yeah, it's just a battle of fundamentals at the moment. I feel like this game has shown a few fundamental issues on the side of Weetbix Kidz being exploited by Destiny's strong fundamentals. And
yeah, I'd say, you know, they've shown that they've got pretty good macro game with these the plays that Destiny have been calling, and it's not too much been showing on the side of Weetbix Kidz. They can be going for a lot of cross maps. You have bounties on towers. You just picked up a Rift Herald. You can play towards that top side, which we know that no one on Destiny is there. Even if there's one there, surely they're not going to hold the Rift Herald push with a lot of your champions on that side here. You could be looking to pick up some bounties with that Rift Herald play, but they're not playing towards things like that. They're going for the greedy play. They're going towards that dragon, even after everything you've mentioned. And it's obviously not going to work out in their favor. Destiny are not going to give you any freebies, and you can't really be counting on any freebies like that in a set like this. But maybe, you know, if they're just a bit of instability, maybe some nervous shot calling going over on the side of Weetbix Kidz. It's not there at the moment, but they certainly do need to pick things up here to try and get some bounties back in their pocket, because that's basically their only way back in. There's a big tower bounty, maybe a big bounty onto the Xerath. You know, the Zed hasn't really come alive. If he's able to find
TP mid
assassination, maybe they find something, but looks like Brayden's looking to find it. As well as Prodigium engaged, they do find Foran, and he is taken down. It was Duplat in the end, finding the chain of corruption. But hey, hang on, as Looking goes in, but he gets pulled back. The interaction against Zed was perfectly played from Jonu, and that's going to find the enemy jungler. With Adakant on the map, you can only assume that is a freebie now out of Destiny. Unfortunate, but that was just a very ambitious assassination attempt out of the side of Lucian onto Duplat there. He would have had to thought like the rest of Destiny were asleep to catch him slipping there, but not the case. They're going to move over to that Adakant. I really do like this play, but do they have enough damage to take down Jonu? He is so tanky with the minion wave there. Looks like Dream Domain's going to be dropping the ult to find something back, and he finds all the skill shots onto Arrow. It's going to be another kill over to him. Dream Domain so strong. I believe he's the richest champion into this game right now. Onto the Xerath. He's been picking up so many assists and kills into these fights. He's got 100% kill participation. Having that global ultimate on this map means he can be anywhere at any time with those ultimates, assisting Destiny, and it's been so crucial into winning out on these skirmishes. Yeah, he is just so powerful on that Xerath mid right now. This Ashe, you know, has to be so careful of getting hit by anything and everything. It's going to absolutely chunk her out, as we've just seen.
Yeah, Dreams of Me coming back with a vengeance. He's decided this is the game he's going to prove himself. I mean, putting some respect on his Xerath. I hope that some of the other teams will probably look at that and say, wow, okay, well, maybe we should probably prioritize. Well, we couldn't prioritize any bans, right? So maybe prioritize taking it away from him or something. But man, the Xerath doing so much damage, able to pretty much. I mean, I don't think the K'Sante did anything there to assist with that kill. I think it was entirely on him to land all those shots onto that Ashe there. As trying to make the heads-up plays as a answer to the strong plays of Destiny. Unfortunately, not working out on the side of Weetbix Kidz, as the dragon is 1 minute away from spawning. Vision getting placed on both sides of the rift. But I'm afraid that there's going to be a little bit of a gold difference to overcome. As we see Sigh getting caught out.
Yeah, he does have the phase rush. Is it enough for him to get out of dodge? Brayden is chasing him all the way here. He sees how strong he is, but look at the squad from Weetbix Kidz. They are trying to rotate across, but they have to be careful of walking into a big Nico ult. It's caught them in the past. Might catch them again, and they're deciding not to send anything here. And Jonu is just keeping steady in that side and constantly applying pressure. You know, K'Sante isn't the most threatening split pusher, but he is ever present there, bringing someone to his lane at all times, saying, you must bring someone to deal with me. They're choosing Galio, but Galio hasn't even got a shred of armor here. He is not able to deal with this Wukong, with this Varus, or this K'Sante well at all. Foran has to be really careful. He's walking in with his face. I think Destiny just called, you know, just respect the bluff there, because that was a free kill. Dead to rights on that Renata, but they decided not to send it there without the information.
I mean, they don't have the vision, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So they are just going to give that respect over, and that's something we don't see really the other way around. Looks like Prodigium does get a bit scared, does drop that ultimate. Junior Burgers is going in onto that Xerath, but he's used all his CCs and best of running around with no cooldowns. Brayden sees an opportunity to go in onto the backline there, finds Forerun, and he is just so tanky onto this Wukong, has the Sundered Sky, has K'Sante dropping the shields on him as well, and this front line is completely unkillable for the side of Destiny. Looks like they are going to find the kill, maybe back, but no. Beautiful stun. You know, Zed is just so difficult to pilot with so much CC. Every single member of Destiny has CC at their disposal, and one CC spell can spell the doom for the Zed, as we've just seen there. And it looks like they're trying to hold on to what they can. Junior Burgers is getting picked out under this tower, and Jonu does not care about your tower at all. The damage there from Ashe is just laughable, as she drops about 20 autos into his back and does about 10% of his health. The wallet gap is something we want. That would be a bit of a problem if it got out of hand. It is sufficiently out of hand. Like, this Wukong and this K'Sante can just use their faces to start a fight.
I don't know, because if Junior Burgers was able to pick up that kill onto a Dream to Mean there, I mean, that fight looks a lot different. Dream to Mean dropping absolute nukes with his ultimate right now, and taking that out of the fight, I mean, these fights would look way different. Especially, I mean, the Zed held his ult the entire time, so it's not completely lost. I think with the dive comp, I think it is possible if they're able to get these crucial kills. It does look doable.
Yeah, all I saw was, you know, Dream to Mean hold his flash in the face of an investor ult. Looks like they're going to burn an ult here onto Prodigium, try to find the engage, and they do. 2 ults is going to pick him out there. It's just insult to injury with Baron on the map, and without the Ashe, there's just nowhere near enough damage for this composition to contest this. So I assume the best thing we can hope for is a steal attempt for the side of Lucian. But Destiny are going to be really zoning him off.
They have
creating problems for him to get in.
2 key ults down. I mean, like I said, if they're able to get these crucial picks, maybe, but it doesn't look like it. Renato is just staying mid, securing that CS. We see
All
Zed.
I'm saying was that was pre-Zonya's Xerath. And he didn't even have to burn his flash. He'll be dropping an ult here. Directed camera's not doing us any favor. Does find the skill shots over to them, and the Baron's getting done in the whole time. Yeah, Destiny are just not letting them anywhere near this particular objective, and everyone just seems so comfortable to just do these plays because they are just so far ahead. We see, you know, when Benji's getting dived on, the team reaction for Destiny isn't, you know, let's try and kill the Xerath, who's very important. It's like Jonu and Brayden just see blood. They're just like, I don't care, I'm running in. We are confident we can 2v5 this with how much damage they are dealing and how tanky they are at the moment. So even if the Nico whiffs her ultimate like he does in that fight, even if Dream to Mean is completely distracted, they're able to win out on these fights just by nature of how strong this front line it is. They're just 13k behind. You've only got this Ashe dealing damage on your comp right now. Got a couple black cleavers, but I just don't think it's enough to be cutting through the amount of armor that this front line's built up here. And the healing and the health, it's just absolute nightmare. Unending Despair just completed for K'Sante, so I'm expecting him to like start off with more health than he begins with in these fights. Yeah,
as this Xerath champion is very akin to the Karthus champion. I mean, you can chunk him out in the start of these fights, but he has the ultimate that's able to just do a ton of damage no matter what. Well, not no matter what, because he still needs to land those shots, and he has been landing them very nicely. As we see Lucian potentially out of position, having to burn that flash to get out. But yeah, like I was saying, Xerath, kind of like this Karthus champion. I mean, chunk him out doesn't really matter. You don't really need to. You just need him to live so that he's able to pump out that ult and get his damage out that way. As we see the siege on the bot side, Arrow killing himself on Thornmail. Some ultimates going on the bot lane.
Do whatever they can. Oh, beautiful stop there from the Renatas to stop the Nico engage. But I don't think it matters. They're trying all they can just to take down the support. But even then, Prodigium still so tanky on this Nico. Just tanks the face of Junior Burgers, tanks Lucian, walks out to live another day, and a beautiful flash shield there from Johnny, who's going to save his jungler. And yeah, it's just a complete and utter stomp from the side of Destiny in that team fight there. They pick up a 5-0. It's not quite. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself as Junior Burgers is running for the hills as we speak towards the towards the Destiny fountain. But yeah, it does look like Destiny are going to be wrapping this one up very shortly here with a very convincing game one out of this playoff series. Yeah,
a lot of
what a show.
A lot of small mistakes adding up in this game. The preparation from the bot lane in that early dragon fight, the rotation for it was mainly that was the start, right? And then it was the grubs after that, and then the getting caught on the red buff into and rotating the ADC into the mid lane early with no kind of like plan in mind. But yeah, a lot of small mistakes, and you can look at the gold graph, and it's a step ladder, 1,000 gold throws towards that Destiny team. But yeah, very strong fundamental game by Destiny, and a Dream Team coming out with a statement that he is not a Control-C, Control-V mid laner.
Oh, well, we can get into the discussion. I will say, I will start off the MVP discussion because that does segue very nicely into it. I will say that I will definitely be giving MVP my vote anyway over to a Dream Team. But again, it's just like the champion Xerath just fits so nicely into this style because a lot of these early game skirmishes that got the Destiny the lead, he wasn't even there, right? He was playing Xerath in mid lane, comfortably supporting his team, and so was Sigh on the Galio. But unfortunately, that's not enough to win out on these matchups. Just having the Galio there, the Xerath was following up a lot of damage, and Dream Team did not miss this game. I think every skill shot and ultimate landed in every single skirmish, which is why I think he's
KP.
easily the MVP. Yeah, easily the MVP candidate because of that. Like, he hit every single skill check. Normally, I'd say the more difficult part is to play that macro and the micro game where Braden and Prodigium have a bit of responsibility moving around the map, making the shot calls, finding these fights, and a Dream Team just has to follow up and hit those skill checks. But he hit it time after time. I don't think he messed up at all that game, apart from maybe in that very, very early on. He ended up overstepping into the gully, had to burn a flash, but that was as close as he got to dying that game. He was very untouchable, dealing all the damage his team needed to be supported. Every single fight was on the ball. And I wouldn't say it's a difficult play style to pull off, but he definitely hit every single skill shot, which is not so common, I would say. You probably will get dodged out onto some people, but even these champions like Zed and Galio and Mbessa, which are pretty hard to hit traditionally, he found all the ultimates, picked up all these kills, and it snowballed them so much quicker that game, picking up every single kill. And yeah, the responses were fantastic. So I'd say the MVP vote is pretty easily there. The 100% KB, you can't argue that stat line. But the rest of it's scary because the rest of Destiny did amazing. It's just you look at the whole stat line across the scoreboard there. Everyone did amazing there. Duplat had an amazing laning phase, built a solid lead there. Wasn't as active in the fights, but that's probably because he was just having to side lane a lot. And they didn't play the traditional poke out before team fight style. It's just Destiny found their angle. They took it every single time, and the fights ended really quickly. But yeah, it's really strong performance from everyone in Destiny. I think Dream Team picked up the MVP there, but going over to the side of SVP, the discussion becomes a little bit harder because again, it's just feel like you talked about the gold graft, and I think the story of that game was I don't think Weetbix Kid had a single positive play outside of small ones in the very early game. It was just Destiny. Every time an exchange was had, Destiny came out on top. Maybe you could argue they got the dragons earlier on, but yeah, they had their number the whole way. And I think the only person maybe that showed their resisting a little bit was Lucian in that very early game, but he's got a stat line of 0-7. He made a big mistake. But maybe Junior Burgers in that regard there was fighting back on Mbessa, kept probably the closest he could. Had a very difficult laning phase into Johnny after that skirmish went bad as well, and he still sort of kept things even. Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult SVP vote. What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure. I think giving it to Junior Burgers would probably be the way to go. I mean, he was completely winning his lane, and then that Grubs fight completely turned it on its head with the Thornmail being picked up by Jonu. Unfortunately, I mean, what do you do as an investor into a Cassandra with Thornmail? I don't know what else you're supposed to do. But he was always looking for those ults. The ult in the mid lane, or all three ults in the mid lane. The playmaking out of this Ambessa, I think, in my mind, is enough to earn him the MVP for this game.
Yeah, I think like he was the one looking for that angle back into the game. It didn't always work out, but that's just a bit of a wallet cap, unfortunately. But certainly saw the angles and tried to take them every time it happened. I'm happy giving him the SCP this game, and yeah, might have to just get ready into our next match. I do believe we have a 10-minute intermission, I believe.
Yeah, I don't
In the
know.
rules set.
We'll give it 5 to 10 minutes. Not sure how long exactly, but yeah, we'll get the second game ready and underway as soon as we can, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are in lobby for round number 2. Oh, not round number 2. Game number 2 of this best of 3. And both teams are ready, so we will let them know we are ready as well. And hopefully we can see Weetbix Kidz kind of bounce back from that and hopefully reflect on the mistakes of that game 1 and fight back. But now they've got 3 bans. I'm curious to see what they'll actually ban this time, as they're able to use that tool in their arsenal finally. As
yeah. The difficult thing about Fearless is you can't really ban what you lost to. You get that it's already off the table for them, so they won't have to worry about the Xerath anymore. Won't have to worry about the Wukong or the Nico because they're just not pickable. So you get to see some different bans probably come through. Generally, I'd say rather than that, you do see the same bans come through from the game 1, but they do have some bans this time to throw around, and they are going to be attacking those strong blind pick early junglers. I imagine like the Xin Zhao, like the Pantheon. Because Destiny have the advantage of being on blue side this time, which means you can pick those meta best picks, which seem to pop up a lot in Pro. See what they end up doing, because we do see Destiny on red side a fair bit. So I'd say that's definitely their most comfortable way of drafting. We'll see how they handle the blue side in a Fearless format. Now that a few of their champions are taking off the table, we'll see, is this a potential room for growth in them, or is this something that they're very well prepared for as well?
Yeah, Vi since our bans. Interesting seeing the Vi getting banned away with that Pantheon left up. I'd expect the Pantheon to be banned 3rd, but the bans remain the same for the side of Destiny, with the focus on Arrow's Trample, which is interesting to see. Swain getting banned, so Pantheon being left up. Trundle and Answer into it as well. Jax getting picked early. We were talking about earlier about potential Camille counterpicks, as we see a Gwen getting as the answer to the Jax pick. Interestingly, able to cut through that counter strike with her Q ability, but not able to snip with the auto attacks through the counter strike, unfortunately. But
yeah. We don't see the Camille at all. I think most Camille veterans would be able to attest to that, saying that the Jax matchup is just a skill matchup. It might seem on paper that Jax should just run that matchup with the counter strike, but Camille has the mobility and the space to sort of actually deal the Jax and sort of outplay him in those exchanges. But we are going to see interesting first 2 random responses there to the Jax. Gwen and Annie being picked up there. Double magic damage drafted straight away, but Galio is off the table. You know, there's not too many anti-mage champions. Maybe Cassin, you might think, but I wouldn't imagine he has a fantastic time into the Annie and the Gwen. So, yeah, that's a lot of MR starting off on the bat there. So they've got to be looking to draft some more attack damage later on into the draft, and we'll see what they end up going. They'd pick up the red side here, but they've already picked both their solo laners. That means it's either going to be, you know, jungle ADC or support counter pick for that round 5. We might see Lucian go for that round 5 ban, but I'm not too sure his pool is as deep as Brayden's. Yet to see that one, but we do see Dreams and Beam picking up Syndra in response to Annie here. And Dupite on his patented Jhin. I'm pretty surprised there.
Sorry, I'm just trying to input the previous picks, see if that works. But yeah, feel free to keep commentating. Sorry. Well,
yeah, no, all good. We do see in response to the Jhin and the Syndra, a Jarvan is picked up for the side of Lucian. Lucian generally likes to play these junglers that sort of, you know, focus on accelerating themselves, that pick up resources and sort of carry teams with it. But Jarvan's a bit of a different story there, where he focuses more on those skirmishes, on those ganks, and certainly that team play with the ultimate being able to lock down a Syndra and Jhin is huge. With the likes of an Annie on your team, if that Syndra ever has no flash in the mid lane, she's just got to play completely scared from a Jarvan flank. She has to have complete vision, otherwise it's just very unplayable for her to walk up anywhere into that lane. So bit of a different dynamic here, and you know, Junior Burgers being finally on one of his comfort champions. I'm not too sure we can count Ambassador as one of them, but yeah, he's been asking for one of these champions like Gwen. We'll see if he's able to do much on it now that he's picked it up. Into a matchup I would expect he sees as comfortable because he picked it into it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. They are focusing on Prodigium's pool there, taking away the Nautilus. I'm not too sure if that's the pick I'd go for on the side. I think Nautilus these days isn't that high priority of the support, being quite squishy in comparison to the others. But we did see some significant nerfs come through to the champions like Elsa and Braum, taking away a lot of armor in that early game. So could be thinking about that. But yeah, lots of support bans on either side's front, having his own Rakan and Braum taken away. Ari might be looking towards Zeri here, looking towards MF. I'd be interested to see what his strategy is. Obviously, the wombo combo potential there with the Jarvan is pretty high, so they are going to go towards that MF, and she's a pretty strong laner herself, but we'll see. She's a bit immobile, so that might open up an opportunity for Prodigium to pick some of these more aggressive supports like that Blitzcrank, like that Pike. Can certainly deal a lot of damage to that immobile ADC. I'm not buying the Yuumi Hogger. I don't think anyone else is, and he does go towards that Alistar eventually. Taking that there into the bot lane, and yeah, they're leaving Farhan counterpick round 5 onto the side of Weetbix Kidz, which is an interesting one, which we don't regularly see in the league at all. Normally supports are easy to pick up early into the draft, but they are seeing, maybe Farhan can cook something up here. He's been known to play some AP Jack spot lane in the past. I wonder if he's got anything else spicy that he might be willing to pull out into playoffs here. But we are going to see a Nidalee from the side of Braden. He's got great setup on all 3 lanes, set up CC from every single one of his allied champions. So the spears should be landing true, but let's be careful in team fighting into these champions like Gwen and Annie later on. They can tear apart, but he's pretty confident on this champion. He's been picking it for a long time, and the early game pressure he can output is going to be completely different from the matchup he had before, where it was Zed into Wukong, whereas sort of the reverse. Now I'm pretty sure Nidalee can pressure Jarvan quite heavily into this early game, so I'm interested to see how he plays out that matchup. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch, and they decide to layer a bit more wombo combo down with that final pick Rel onto Weetbix Kidz there. He's going for engage on Annie, engage on Jarvan. They're just saying we're just going to put all our eggs into this basket. If they get caught out, it's a bit unlucky, but if they're doing the ones catching, they are looking to be really strong in this matchup. How you doing, Ryan? You got the the feelers going?
Nah, it didn't work. But yeah, the interesting picks across the board as we get into this game 2. Spectator delay. Match point for Destiny in this matchup as we see a Nidalee getting picked up. Braden not happy that his early tempo was beaten by that Zed, opting in for that Nidalee pick, hopefully being able to showcase his high tempo junglers as well. Into that Jarvan matchup, I don't think Jarvan's got a crazy clear. It's not that bad either. It's not as bad as Wukong's. It's a little bit better than that. But rest of the teams, it's interesting. I think the side lane looks a little bit more threatening on the side of Destiny this game. The Jackson Italy into that Gwen Jarvan matchup. I would suspect their game plan would be to play around Jonio a little bit more, and rather than these team fights that we've been seeing from this team. But yeah, the team fight on the side of Weetbix Kidz looks very decisive, very, very strong with the Annie, Rel, and Jarvan, and with the follow-up of the Gwen and the Misfortune. Team fight wise, the side of Weetbix Kidz looks very strong, and the side of Destiny, their side lanes look quite strong. So,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
would say
sure.
yeah, Destiny have a pretty strong skirmishing side laning. They've got a lot. I think one thing they might lack is that front line, especially when taking objectives. Alistar is really tanking into the team fight with that ultimate, but if you ever want to make a Atacon or a Baron play, it's a bit difficult. Nidalee healing him up might be able to offset that a little bit, but yeah, the front line is sort of built around that Alistar ult, and I guess if the Jax is pretty strong himself, he can buy a lot of time, but no real true tanks on the side of that. So Destiny are going to have to pick and choose their fights really careful. I think Prodigium's going to be instrumental for having that front line for them. Because again, Johnny spends most of his time in that side lane, not really walking in with the team. So they've got a pretty squishy team into a very scary engaged comp. So, you know, if Weetbix are able to get a bit of an early game lead here, that's going to be very difficult to pilot for Destiny. They've shown they can pilot a lot of composition so far, but if any sort of things go south in the early game this time, I reckon it might be very difficult for them to make their way back into the game, trying to deal with that sort of weakness. But we'll see if it happens at all, because, you know, reverse tempo, Brayden on Nidley, I'm expecting to see them put the pedal to the metal and really like try take advantage in these early games. Syndra into Annie's probably going to get that priority, and, you know, Brayden's going to be moving into the jungle with that support. I'm hoping Lucian has has his teammates around him and has the knowledge to sort of deal with this sort of thing, because I reckon there's going to be some invading going on, or, you know, some early game shenanigans in general coming out of the Destiny jungler. We'll see whether they're able to weather the storm, or are they able to blow up open the game in 6 minutes or less, like they have versus other teams in the past.
Yeah, just want to quickly mention that what these teams are playing for in this playoff series. So first place will be receiving $1,000, so $200 per player. Second place is $500. Yep, so $100 per player, and third place is $250. So $50 per player, and this was a entry fee of $20, I believe. So yeah, top three more than making their money back in this tournament, as we are getting underway for game 2.
Yep. I'm not so sure if we've seen any sort of invade shenanigans at all in all of Right Esports series. I think playoffs would probably be the time to do it if you're looking, especially to be the underdogs, looking to try and get some sort of cheeky advantage. But I wouldn't say either comp has a spectacular invade position here, but maybe something to keep your eye out for the rest of the playoffs. I would be expecting level 1 stuff come through. At least, you know, if one comp has the advantage, why not give it a shot? But not seeing it at all so far. Just a standard fan form the side of Destiny. Great defense coming out here to make sure they're not going to get any cheeky wards down. Brandon's going for a bit of a safe one on his own, but yeah. We'll be keen to see how the Dark Harvest nearly ends up playing out this game. Looks like he's going to be looking to pick up some Dark Harvest stacks, try to put some tempo down, and really pressure them. And right now they have zero knowledge of where that Nidlee's starting. So, but certainly do some damage this game if they're not careful.
Yeah, runes look pretty standard from both sides. Press the attack offering quite strong lane presence for their Misfortune. Conqueror. Lethal tempo for Johnny's Jax there as well, which is interesting. Not sure when you're supposed to take either one, but as we see a Nidalee invade.
Yeah, he's going for that level 2 already. He's not wasting any time at all. If Jarvan's able to pick up that buff, I think he'll be fine, but I'm not too sure he'll be able to pick up his Grump. His bot lane are already trying to put the pressure on, so that the rotates won't come through. But yeah, he's landed that spear. Poked him off of the Grump. He might be looking to pick that one up. He's pinging for help. Lucian already is, but I'm not too sure he'll get it in time from his laners. Look at the lane priority from both sides. They're going to be having to make some difficult decisions to try to help out the jungler, but it might happen. Foran is already here, but look at the level advantage. Prodigium at level 2 is going to show up first blood with the Dark Harvest over to Brayden there, and already Destiny are bringing that fight 2 minutes into the game. First blood secured, and the whole Destiny squad coming over to secure this victory for the side of their squad here. But Foran decides to go back in, but I'm not too sure that's the fight he wants at all. He goes back in, finds a knock-up on a single member, immediately has to flash back out, and Arrow is just all but very, very difficult for him to do much at all. Yeah, and we thought it would be coming, and it ended up coming, and yeah, Lucian was not ready for it. No vision, no nothing.
You're fairly far behind, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, another invade coming out from the side of Brayden's Nidalee, as we see an engage coming in the bot lane. But Lucian... Wait, no, that's Lucian invading the blue buff. He's getting defended... Brayden's defending the blue buff, as we see Jax land the counter-strike onto Annie, running away from that top lane, and then TPing back. My goodness. This is a very... action-packed start to the game of game 2.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like Johnny misses out on much. I saw his CS and be like, maybe that's the silver lining here, but he's going to pick up a huge wave that was lined up in this tower. I still think he'll be behind Junior Burgers in the lane, but like that all but accelerates this Nidley with that Dark Seal, doing super well for herself in this game. Yeah, already, like, the gold lead, you don't normally see this big 4 minutes into the game, but definitely have done it. But that said, they've gone for a bad engage on the bot side. Arrow looks to turn things around onto the side of the Destiny bot lane, but unfortunately oversteps it against the barrier and gets taken down there. That could have been a huge turnaround and what they needed to sort of bring back any sort of advantage into this game, but Arrow oversteps his boundaries there and gives over another kill, and that's just going to be a 1-for-1. Maybe Lucian can pick up a cheeky kill onto that barrierless Jhin, but he's still holding onto that flash shoot. Yeah, that was just a very, very ambitious dive from the side of that MF, and it doesn't end up going that way, which shows how desperate they are. They probably already feel like, you know, the game gold-wise isn't completely doomed, but they probably feel like they've got to start making some plays to try to get back into it. As Prodigium comes up here, he doesn't have the flash. The rest of Weetbix Kidz are on route. Maybe they're able to find something here. Not quite.
Oh my goodness. Dragon Mix started up by the side of Weetbix Kidz. Nidalee on her top camps right now. Jarvan was able to get back some camps of his own in that bot side. And yeah, it's a repeat of last game where we're seeing Duplight absolutely CSing every minion, it seems like. Nearly 10 CS per minute in this matchup with that early aggression in the top lane. As we see, oh my goodness, that was very close. I think Johnny could have flashed there for the kill.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, he's got the ult here. Is he going to be able to do something? He does flash, but it doesn't end up getting the kill for Junior Burgers. That was Johnny's flash, excuse me. Maybe looking to outplay that. A bit of spaghetti all over the top lane, but that's going to be a solo kill coming through onto Johnny there. Yeah, I think if Junior Burgers popped his ghost, like when Johnny went in, dodged out on that counter strike, it might have been the reverse opportunity where he's able to get a solo kill. But just the small mechanic gaps Destiny have been showing they have just a mechanical edge over the side of Weetbix Kidz here today as well, and it's showing, you know, every time Weetbix Kidz maybe have something, just the mechanics of Destiny are just pulling through in that bot lane exchange. Now Foran finds himself under the tower. They're going to drop the exhaust onto Arrow, stopping him from dealing any damage, and this cow is not dying anytime soon. Duplight laying down the damage with his support is going to be more than enough, and that's going to be a double kill going over to Duplight. And this game already at 6 minutes in, they have found themselves 2k gold up. This took them, I think it took them 10 minutes or so last game, but they're going for a new record, it looks like, and they're currently running away with this gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying before, like these team fights might prove fatal for Destiny as they don't really have a front line. So this gold lead early shouldn't mean a crazy amount. Hopefully, we will see the strength of Weetbix Kidz in these team fights. The first dragon being secured quite early into this game, so the Dragon Soul win condition on the side of Weetbix Kidz already being set up. As we see Nidalee moving around that top side in that Rift Herald, as we see pings going on the side of Jarvan though, potentially getting caught out here as the top lane engage as well, all in. Lots of action all over the place.
Weak side, yeah, he's just going to be a big kill going over onto the side of Junior Burgers. Prodigium flashing over with a Dream to Meme, going to pick up a kill on Lucian. And even though there's weak siding bot side technically here, they're throwing numbers down. They're finding the angles to pick up a kill onto the enemy jungler. And he's just not rotating, the support nowhere to be seen, and this is just the miscoordination we're seeing that, you know, Destiny have over Weetbix Kidz. This is what we thought might happen, and, you know, it's just costing them too much. They should be succeeding on this side of the map, but unfortunately, Junior Burgers has nothing going for him. His wave's in a terrible spot, has to die in that top side, and you'd hope the team are going to get something successful on the bot side. Not the case at all, as they pick up a kill in return. And yeah, he's still playing weak side here. Top looks like his jungler is finally here to provide him some backup. They are going to be looking for a kill. No flash onto Jonu might mean there's an angle, but Lucian isn't level 6. He's not going to be able to lay down the Cataclysm onto anyone. Jonu is just going to leap strike out of dodge. And Annie was looking there to support, but just too little too late every single time. Just never catching Destiny at that right moment. Are Weetbix Kidz, and it's just still, they got to keep trying for another big opening. But right now, that gold lead just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
interesting seeing that Jarvan's able to pick up this objective on the top side of the map while we're seeing a lot of trading in this bot lane matchup. I mean, these fights don't look very good for the side of Weetbix Kidz, but at least they're getting the objectives. So they're getting at least something from these from this early game. Yeah. Trading 4k gold down is not ideal though.
Yeah. Biggest surprise to me was seeing that you know, a couple of minutes ago it looked a bit better, but Lucian had a pretty significant like farm advantage over Diddley. I had no idea how that happened. Maybe Braden was making a few reads into camps that weren't actually up or anything like that, but
nah,
he wasn't doing anything bad for himself.
Nah, Jarvan was picking up the camps on these invades, so that was basically it. Nearly losing out on the smites potentially, but yeah, Jarvan from that early game was able to stay ahead in CS, staying about 3 or 4 camps ahead. As we see a flash being traded in the bot lane, getting traded, getting traded rather.
Yeah, that is as best as you could do there. Flash exchange, but you know that's just going to be easy pickings next time that MF is in range with that Nidalee hovering around. I'm sure it's going to be something they look for very soon. Even Jewpies can set up that sort of spear into an ult there, but looks like he's just looking for the camps, going back to his own jungle, trying to get everything he can, build that lead, but I think the damage has already been dealt. Destiny know they're going to be basically half an item up across the lanes here at all times, and that's going to be huge for securing these next objectives. So yeah, I just hope Lucian is able to find some sort of plays onto this Jarvan, you know, punish the flash timers. There's no flash on mid right now. Hopefully they're timing and tracking that. He knows that Syndra flashed on him, so they should really be looking to punish and drop in ult onto the Syndra to try and find any sort of kill back. But not seeing that sort of response yet. Looks like Junior Burgers might fancy his chances for a solo kill back on the top side here. He has the third ultimate, is going to drop that here, and that is going to be a shutdown. Junior Burgers gets revenge there in the top lane. That, really cool Jack spot. There is another fight going on as I get stumbled over my words. They look for a play, but unfortunately, Prodigium just gets the hell out of there with his ghost. And looks like they dropped the ult, and maybe they have the damage to one-shot him. I think they do. Looking for the ultimate, finds a shutdown, and then they have the damage onto Prodigium to kill him as well. Finally, Weetbix Kidz have found that go angle off the back of Sigh, and that beautiful Tibbers is going to be looking to zone out a Dream to Meme, but they have to be careful as the curtain call comes across. They're really looking to pick up that Syndra as she's caught in the middle of all these champions. They do find her, but Jewpies is able to pick up Sigh in the backlane. Is gonna laugh at all the chaos that's going on in this game right here, but all that's said and done, they pick up a second dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Sigh finding the angle onto Braden's Nidalee there, getting the flash ult onto him, but hold that thought as we see Lucian potentially dying here with the Lich Bane damage, able to pick that one up. Yes, Jarvan was caught invading his blue buff. I wasn't sure whether that was up or not, but TP coming out from Sigh to answer Johnny's aggression again.
Yeah, it's quite ambitious. That was so close to being that, but if the counter strike's up, he's in a very bad spot here. The Prodigium is going to flash, headbutt pulverize, and that's going to be a kill over to the Annie. Just teleported to try and buy time for Junior Burger's lane, but unfortunately, not going to happen. The rest of Destiny are all up here. This is what they do. They rotate the jungle and the top lane and the support here. Junior Burger is just trying to pick up a wave under his tower, but I'm not too sure. He's trying his best to outplay this. The ult does come back up, but unfortunately not enough. Lucian is trying to pick up a kill, but he doesn't have the Cataclysm to get that ultimate onto the Nidalee. And they're going to get out with absolute murder underneath that tower. That just Weetbix Kidz finally get something back, and Destiny just wrench it away from them. Yeah, it's just so difficult to catch a team slipping. Oh,
here we go. Engage onto the side of Weetbix Kidz. Catching out that flashless Syndra as you mentioned before.
She does have the flash back, and that is going to be expended to keep herself alive, but you know, that could have it could have been worse certainly for them. They do get that summoner spell. Looks like they're trying to punish more, but look how active. I haven't even seen a top lane be this with the rest of the team. Jonu is roaming with the rest of the team, looking for fights here. There's no dragon, there's nothing to be had. He's just here for the vibes, and he's chasing down Weetbix Kidz into their own goddamn jungle as Braden is jumping in, trying to pick up on Farhan. There's no one there to save him. He's going down with the help of Prodigium, and that's another kill going over to the side of Braden, stacking up that Dark Harvest. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy what is going on the map here.
No time to breathe in this game as it's just action-packed non-stop. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what's going on. It looks like they're poising for a dive in the bot lane. Ultimate getting burnt in the mid lane.
Yeah, big chunk out onto Johnny. That's going to release some pressure, but not after he's lost 4 plates on his mid lane tower. He just bonked that one away. Arrow does find himself in a terrible spot. The spear lands and Nidley arrives onto his graveyard there. That is just the combo, and we just see just how like the jungle support proximity of Destiny has to be like absolutely insane. How much these two play together and how strong it looks. You know, with the Prodigium and Braden went top together, absolutely wreaked havoc. Went bot together, wreaked havoc. They're just there in every single skirmish together. It's why this team is so strong. You always feel like you're outnumbered, this team, or at least even when you match the numbers, they feel like they're there first or they're playing better together around their skill shots. This jungle support duo seems to be just the main thing that's putting Destiny so far ahead of the pack. But, you know, there's certainly no slouches in any other lane here. Jonu laying down the law against Junior Burgers here. There's a bit of a conversation on who's the better player. But it looks like Jonu both times has blind picked and he's coming out pretty ahead here. There's been some solo kills back and forth, but all in all, you know, you can have a lot of factors. Jonu's looking fantastic in this top lane.
Yeah, I mean, this jungle has been very pivotal for this game, especially for the top role. So it's not the best way to measure the difference between these two top laners, as we see the Dragon coming up in 50 seconds. Bloodthirster, items getting completed on everybody. First item, components, barrier getting burnt there. But yeah, the gold lead, 5,000 gold on the side of Destiny. Will it prove too tall a mountain to climb for the side of Weetbix Kidz, or will their teamfight comp allow them to secure this third dragon, as we see lots of posturing in the fourth vision on the side of Weetbix Kidz?
Oh, it looks like they might be looking for a pick here, but it's against an Alistar. This is the one champion you probably won't be able to burst down, and he finds a beautiful pulverize into 3 members. They're trying to counter-engage with the beautiful time of the Tibbers. The bullet time, it's huge, but it's not enough as they keep getting out on 1 HP. Finally, Arrow finds the press the attack to pick up the kill onto Prodigium, and Braden looking to survive on the tower, but they might going for the dive here. They're trying to finish him off, but he turns it right back around with the spear, with the leap. Take him down, and it's just a 2 for 2 after it all. They found a great angle, but all this time Syndra's just pummeling down the mid lane, gets a tower, gets all these minions, so it's gonna be at a cost, certainly.
Never mind. Yeah, that mid tower
looks like an even trade on if you just look at that play in isolation, but if you look at the rest of the map, it's not going too well for the side of Weetbix Kidz. They're teleporting in now for this dragon, and I don't know if Weetbix Kidz are going to be able to contest this one. Junior Burger is having another fight with Jonu as he stacks up that little tempo. He has to be careful. They're 1 HP, but nice flash behind is going to deny any sort of chance dying to that Gwen here. Jonu is absolutely just being hell for this Gwen in this top lane right now.
My goodness, as we are seeing a little bit of posturing. I mean, they're down a member. Junior Burgers did die in that top lane. That flash on Jonu, not able to contest this dragon. I mean, it is only their first dragon. They are 2 dragons up. And yeah, like, this game seems to be slipping further and further into Destiny's favor.
Yeah, they had it like under wraps at the beginning. They had a couple slip-ups in return, but yeah, they're firmly grasping it now, and it's just some champions are just so far ahead, like Braden on this Nidley. Dewpies himself is just so rich on this Jhin, having a bit of a sleeper game himself. He's been hitting a lot of these skill shots, been spending in a lot of these fights. They're going for a dive. The teleport are coming in. They're trying to turn it back around with Junior Burger's damage, but Braden is just so fed and tanky. He has the Rift Held to get the hell out of dodge as well. Trying to find the kill on him, gets a knock up on the way out. Maybe he isn't done. He gets off. I think that was a bit of a mistake from him, but the Dewpies does trade the kill at least onto Sigh. Dream to Meme is looking to drop down the damage with the Syndra balls here, looking to take down Arrow, but doesn't quite have the damage to nuke him. Dewpies trying to drop some damage himself, and looks like they're just going to be dancing around the edge of this Rel's range, not being able to find anything. Lucian is playing tower defense, but Jonu is just not defendable right now. He is just so strong on this Jax, taking everything down. And yeah, it is just a bit of chaos everywhere. I don't know what Lucian thinks he's got here. I don't know if his top lane is going to be there in time. It's looking pretty rough for him. Jonu is going to look to turn it back around onto Junior Burgers. I'm not too sure if he has enough damage for this one. He does try, but he doesn't quite get the kill onto Lucian. And that's going to be a big shutdown, finally going over into Junior Burgers' pocket.
Oh
but yeah,
my
holy cow, there is just so much going on across this map. But again, like Destiny, you know, they had a bit of a victory in that bot side with that tower dive. A few slip-ups finally from Jonu and Braden give some gold back over. But they're still pretty comfortably ahead here with about a 4K lead. But
5K,
yeah, we'll see.
My goodness. There's I mean, yeah, I mean, we're seeing these team fights play out pretty well for Weetbix Kidz, all things considered. 5,000 gold lead, you wouldn't think it'd be this close. As we see Prodigium not committing to
he didn't decide that was the fight. Yeah, he just goes for the headbutt out. Decides to get out of dodge there.
Yeah, he says Nidalee wasn't really in a position to follow up there, so he just goes for the W to get out. As we see some posturing around this bot side, Rift, Skull Crab, rather. It looks like we might be into another team fight.
Yeah, but we don't have a big engage option from that, and he doesn't have the Tibbers flash combo. He's going to find a Dream to me, unfortunately, though, and he just pick him up. Yeah, just knocks him. Just absolutely nukes him there, but looks like Jonu has arrived, and he's a bit of a beast, a force to be reckoned with on this Jax. He hasn't even taken a scratch on his health bar. They just knew it was over from the moment he landed and didn't even return any damage, and now it's just going to be too difficult for them to contest this Adakan, I imagine. Just going to be a steal attempt from the side of Lucian, if anything. They don't have the Annie ult. They don't have much damage left.
I mean,
Lucian with a
team
dream,
fight,
maybe can steal it.
Potentially, like I've always said that this Adakan is very scary to take when members are able to contest it. I would really like to see them contest it as Jonu stepping up, being the front line for the team.
Yeah, it's too difficult to get anywhere near it. They get it down. The curtain call's being dropped. They might have to run for the hills. They might find themselves dropping on the way out, but a nice block from Farhan is going to keep Lucian alive right at the end of it all. But that is a big victory for the side of Destiny. Adakan going into their pockets, and a huge amount of XP and that on-kill effect is going to be instrumental for making these fights even more one-sided for them. Because they do have to be careful, you know, like we are seeing that the Annie is, you know, she isn't exactly super strong or super far ahead, but she's still got a huge amount of power in this game. If she's able to find those squishy members, she is able to nuke them with the assistance of anyone else there. Is going to be able to take that person down. And unfortunately, that was Dream to Meme last team fight. We'll see if they're able to pick out anyone like Braden. And again, the gold lead could quickly go away if they're able to find these one-shots, find these crucial picks. But I don't know how they're going to pick off this Jax, because he's got some of the most gold. They don't really have a good way of getting onto but either, unless he's walking into them. He is finding the Gwen on top of him now. He's going to drop the flash, and that's about everything they can do. Prodigium looking to find the headbutt, but unfortunately Gwen is immune, and he can't find the headbutt outside of the W range. Is just going to reset after all things happened here, but Dragon is spawning very soon. I don't know if they'll be able to fight it now with the map state, with the resets, burning an ult here and there. We'll see whether they can test it. I think Weetbix Kidz have not been one to back down so far. I don't know why that would start now, so certainly make Destiny earn their victory and make them have to fight for this dragon if that's the case. But so far they've been pretty solid. We'll see if they slip up any more, and maybe Sigh can make a big play with the flash Tibbers combo.
Yeah, mid lane an item down, but we've seen that doesn't really matter as the Annie is able to burst out this Syndra champion. We see a little bit poke, a little bit of vision getting taken away as this dragon is spawning. Gwen is not in a very good position to join this fight. He's going to have to take that wave and then TP afterwards. Jax, a little bit early to the fight. Able to get picked out, actually.
They might be looking to try pick on him, but they don't have the damage there right now. But I think he's, again, that's some bluff gaming, you know. I think Jax can easily turn it back around, but decides to not
they're not starting. Rel getting destroyed.
Is going to be the first one to face check that bush, and the whole of Destiny are waiting there. The Destiny bush
nice flash.
Is going to have to flash over the wall, and that's the damage done there. The jungler's chunks on the other side of the map. They're now going to be running over to that dragon. No support to set up this engage through, and they're Destiny pushing again. Prodigium with the ult is just going to be looking to tank up the whole team. A huge four-man stun from the side of Jonu, but they might be turned on there. This is really positioning from them. They're running through the jungle, leading into the wombo combo of the side of Weetbix Kidz. Arrow! Again, finds the press the attack, but Braden is going to find the spear. Big stun there. Junior Burgers trying to lay down the damage, but doesn't quite have it. Tibbers takes a spear that's going to save Junior Burgers' life for now, but is it enough? Gwen is immune. They did all they can to delay the dragon, but unfortunately, Destiny still have 2 members up. It's up to Foran. Maybe he can delay it, but I don't think he quite can with the Nidalee heals. They are going to be able to pick up this next dragon, and that is going to be another victory going over the side of Destiny. Albeit, it is quite close, these fights. You know, you can imagine with the gold lead, if it isn't as instrumental as it is, how would this game have looked if they had been able to, you know, survive the early game tempo coming out of Brayden?
Yeah.
But right now, yeah, the team fights are still going to the side of Destiny, but they'd certainly make him work for it.
It was unfortunate to see this giant gold lead, giant gold mountain to climb on the side of Weetbix Kidz. Unfortunately, not quite making it to the peak there, but it is extremely close in these fights. And it just takes one mistake for the side of Destiny to find themselves not with 7,000 gold ahead and not being able to win out of these fights. I feel like it's just it just takes one mistake, I feel like, in these fights, and time is yet to tell what will happen as we see it. Foran taking a giant chunk from Dream Tween's damage, actually dying.
Gotta get out of there. I don't know if he had his W up or not, but he certainly is holding on to it. Lucian is making some interesting decisions as well, as Prodigium looks to just turn the fight back around to him, saying, I don't need an ambulance.
Doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, nice cancel.
Cancelled out of that, and Brayden is going to find that. Unfortunately, now that might be attention.
Oh my god, nice W flash Q.
Flash Q from the side of Prodigium. Junior Burger is just trying to keep his ADC alive, but it's going to be at the cost of his own life, and the auto attack with Dark Harvest with the Lich Bane is going to be enough to take him down. Quadra kill over to the side of Brayden, saying, you know, you might have been able to pick up MVP game 1 during the meme, but I think I'm going to be looking to pick up that second one, because yeah, he's having a monster performance on this Nidalee this game.
Yeah, the amount of damage he's been able to pull out with that Lich Bane, I mean, it's been insane. As it is off the back of his team, as we're seeing a pentakill.
Pentakill over to the side of Brayden. I don't think anyone saw that coming. That was a while, and Ferran did kind of step up asking for that one. But yeah, that is going to be, I think, is that the first official pentakill
of the tournament
so far?
Yeah, I think so.
Over to a jungle Nidalee of all things.
Oh my goodness. What a game 2. Very decisive by the side of Destiny with that huge gold lead throughout the entire game. As we are going to go over to the end game screen and talk about MVPs, I suppose. As I mean, you've already mentioned Brayden sticking it to the dream to meme, wanting to prove that he's the. I mean, he's a very, very strong contender in this MVP title. So yeah, I mean, in the interest of time, I'm happy to give it over to Brayden.
Yeah, I think he's probably the one I'd be looking over towards as well.
Oh,
there, he just from the start of the game, we really saw like we saw that he was from minute 4 invading, setting his team up short, calling these things, and really running away with the game, building these gold leads. Had a couple slip-ups. I think, you know, the Herald incident was something that happened, but yeah, the rest of the game he was playing pretty spectacular, landing the skill shots, all of it set up excellently from his team, of course. But yeah, just top damage as Nidalee, like top gold, 10 stacks on that Dark Seal. Pretty much the exact performance you'd want from your Nidalee when you see it locked in. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes we get Nidalees that go like 0-5, and you're like wondering why the hell we picked this champ, but not in the case of Brayden. He certainly shows exactly why it can be played and can be powerful in the right hands. And yeah, I'd be happy to give that one over to him.
All right, and for SVP,
it's a difficult one. I'd want to give this one over either to Arrow or even surprisingly Sigh, because even though his scoreline isn't fantastic, obviously the kills don't always land in your pocket, but he was pretty pivotal in turning around some of the main swinging points there. I believe there's a fight where they swung 2.5k gold back into the side of a beautiful Sigh engage, catching Brayden out. That was like one of Brayden's only, you know, uncalled for deaths, I'd suppose, is just getting caught out by Sigh's Annie. But Arrow certainly being able to output these damage, had a brilliant fight there where he was able to lay the bullet time in the jungle, turning that one on its head. Is the only positive scoreline out of this entire series on Weetbix Kidz. So I don't know. There's a few options there. I'd be leaning either towards Sigh or Arrow myself. What are your thoughts on the matter?
yeah, it was good to see Arrow stepping up to these fights and pushing his limits in these fights. Unfortunately, for that third or fourth dragon fight, Jack's getting the upper hand in that limit pushing, unfortunately, and not allowing them to challenge that Atakan as well as they would like. But yeah, there was lots of fist fighting in this bot lane. It was good to see, and I'm not sure. I feel like it could go to anyone really. I feel like everyone played their part in this game. So, but just for the pushing of the limits on the misfortune, getting those ults. A lot of these fights um, were decided by those misfortune ults, bullet times, and yeah, I'd be happy to give it over to Arrow as well.
Yeah, I'd say this is definitely not a kind game to an MF2. Having a Jax, having a Syndra, any sort of CC can lead into a Nidalee Spear and get you one shot.
Yep.
I think he's got a pretty respectable stat line and amount of damage when you're playing into that amount of threat from an ADC. So yeah, happy to give that over to Arrow for the SVP tonight. But unfortunately, that is going to be Weetbix Kidz going down to the losers bracket. Destiny advancing ahead as we all expected, but we did see some signs of life out of Weetbix Kidz there. I reckon, if they were able to have a bit more of a stable early game, maybe they guarded their jungle interests a bit earlier on. They had a bit more stability. We had a game on our hands with those team fights. They certainly could have had something with the Annie engages later on, catching out some of these champions. But Destiny too strong in that early game, too coordinated. We saw them move around with that Alistar and that Nidalee, and it was just absolute destruction wherever they walk together. It was quite the combo to deal with. So yeah, back to the drawing board for other teams, I'd say, to try and take Destiny, because they're going to go ahead to that one step short of that grand finals. They're on the winners finals, I imagine, and if they win their next match, they're into that grand final series. So not much road left ahead for them, and certainly a lot more work to do for the rest of the teams. But that's all we have for stream tonight. Any closing remarks, Ryan?
So next game will be Thursday. I believe that is between Jewpies Angels and Darwin Town Freaks. Be sure to check that one out. I believe that will be starting at 6 p.m. If I'm not wrong. If there's any updates to that, I'm sure we will let you guys know. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the games tonight, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
See you later.
Empty hearts and neon lights. They're playing with my mind. Gotta get out of here tonight. Oh, I want